Shalom, first and foremost, I like to give all glory, honor, and praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai. Double honors to the apostle elders of Great Millstone who rule well, and salutations to all you brothers out there pushing this word in love, truth, sincerity, and humility. Once again, it's the brother Shot from the Chicago camp. Coming back to you, what I hope is another quick and edifying sit down. And this is on the Common Sense Show with Dave Hodges, and it says, how will the government handle extreme food shortages? And that's an interesting question because, as we can clearly see right now, the government does not care about the people because the government that we have right now is ruled by big business, and big business does not like the poor. Go to Proverbs. I want to get two things. Proverbs 29 and 27. It says, an unjust man is an abomination to the just, and he that is upright in the way is an abomination to the wicked. So the so-called well-to-do citizens of America, they are repugnant in the eyes of the elite because they only look at them as bottom feeders, sheep, cattle, things meant for slaughter and slave usage. Nothing more, nothing less. And it's a sad thing because the only thing that the common man wants, as spoken of in Ecclesiasticus, is 29 and 21. It says the chief thing for life is water and bread and clothing and a house to cover shame. All right, these are the main things that a man needs in his life. But as I said before, the government is not trying to let the people get this stuff. So Dave Hodges poses the question, how will the government handle extreme food shortages? So let's let this video play and we'll get some scripture.
Now, right to the matter at heart is food. The government has addressed what they would do with extreme civil unrest. In fact, they came out in a white paper, and I saw some of it published around the net recently.
And civil unrest is coming because there is going to be a food shortage.
And they said, the government said this, actually through the Naval War College, that we won't enter a hostile city. If a city's in turmoil and they're fighting with each other for resources or civil discourse or whatever it would be, they're not entering. They will, as per the continuity of government protocols. Oh, Dave, you talked about that a few months ago. Yes, I did. The continuity of government protocols call for the encirclement of any troubled area. Nothing in, nothing out. Let the fire burn itself out, which means a lot of people are going to get hurt. Now, this is why Eisenhower authorized.
You heard that. If a place is in civil unrest, nothing in and nothing out. That sounds very familiar. Sounds a lot like 70 AD. Nothing going in, nothing going out. Let's continue.
The building of the interstate highway system for two reasons. One, to quickly mobilize and move military forces in case we're invaded. And number two, if there is civil unrest or potential brewing civil war, we can cut off the cities and leave them without supplies and basically do to cities today what Grant did to Richmond when he starved them into submission, and they were literally eating rats in the final days before they surrendered from the old Civil War. So that's the continuity of government plan. And there's nothing indicating that they would do anything different. So let's just say, I don't know, you're in St. Louis or Philadelphia or Chicago, Las Vegas. Doesn't matter where you're at. If you have these issues, they're going to cut you off. And then it's every man for himself. And what does Bob say and Daisy say when they come on the show? They're very clear. They say, don't live in the city. Now, some of you say, Dave, I'm stuck here. Okay, I guess you have to make that quality of life decision. What can you afford to do? What will you do? What will your family accept? You know, I'm fortunate I don't have to deal with this. Now, we could get some hordes coming out of Phoenix, but we're pretty far off the beaten path, but I'm not naive to think we're going to be totally without trouble where I'm at. So I've given thought to this as well, too. Do you have allies? Don't be a prepper and someone else isn't, because then they're coming to your house in the middle of the night, if you know what I'm saying. So what you need to do is make sure that you've got the food, water, guns, gold, natural medicine, and tools, and that you align with people who are the same way. And if you can get your community on the same part and path, you can block entrances. You can set up defensive perimeters. You can have watches. You can organize like a military organization. The communities that survive will do exactly that. And unfortunately, the people who are best prepped to do this are gangsters, street gangs, and also the motorcycle gangs. They have a hierarchy of power. As illegitimate as some of these activities are related to drugs and so forth, they have a hierarchy of power, they have a command structure, and they're well armed. They're the ones that would do best, and that's who you need to worry about not coming to your place, killing you and your family, and taking your goods. That's the danger of living in a city. It's not so much your neighbor, it's who can organize the fastest. And 911, there won't be no hello, what's your emergency? It'll be bah, bah, bah. We're on our own. I don't think we're in Kansas anymore, Toto. That's it for the Common Sense Show. Please.
So basically, what Dave is telling you is that if there's any type of civil unrest, which there will be, because as he said, when these supplies start getting real short, okay, folks are going to start going to other people's homes. That's why he said, if you're a prepper, don't align yourself with somebody else who's not prepped, because he's going to come in your house and take what you own. Okay. Second Ezra 15 and 16, it says, for there shall be sedition among men, a violent uprising, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their action shall stand in their power. Because there won't be any police. He just told you it won't be any EMS. The government is just going to let them just starve themselves out. So they're not going to care, because if they feel nobody cares for them and nobody's coming to get them, they're going to do whatever it takes to survive. Okay. Verse 19, it says, a man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation. All right. When there's no food, people get in line real quick, no pun intended. But when there's no food, that's the first thing that makes people go crazy. All right. They can chill in their if they don't have a house, they can chill in their car. They can wear their clothes a couple of times. Might drift off to a gym, take a shower. You know, it's not a big deal, but you talk about a person can't eat. They go 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, no food. Oh, you about to have a whole lot of fights going on and a lot of killings. And that's what's going to happen, because with the government or the elites controlling this man-made famine, that's how they're going to treat everybody. And Dave made mention of it, that if you don't get in line, they'll just keep stalling you out until you get in line. When you act right, that's when they'll give you some food. And the thing is, it's going to be rationed. So if you're a mother and a father and 3 kids, you'll probably get the same rations as somebody who's just by themselves. Okay, it's going to get really bad. It's going to get bad to the point where eventually folks will start eating. They're going to start eating each other before they like, you know what, we give in. And if you all think that I'm lying when I say that, we're going to see what the Bible has to say about that, since this is so-called a book of all love. Okay. This is 2nd Ezra 15, I might have to start at 47. Yeah, second Ezra 15 and 57, it says, Thy children shall die of hunger, and thou shalt fall through the sword. The city shall be broken down. Why? Because it's going to be in complete chaos, because the supply chain is creating a bigger demand than there is a supply. Okay, you're going to have very little resources for many people. Okay, so there won't be enough to go around. And it says, And all thine shall perish with the sword in the field. They that be in the mountains shall die of hunger, and eat their own flesh, and drink their own blood for very hunger of bread and thirst and water. Oh, wow. Where's the love in that? See, it's going to get real ugly out there. And unless you are a man of the Lord, or you're with a man of the Lord, this is a fate that's going to befall many people here. Because as I said earlier in this sit down, the government does not care. We're entering into a time, as I've said before also, we're entering into a time where you do not want to be without the protection of the Lord. I mean, if any person had the eyes to see and the ears to hear, they could clearly see that the Lord is not playing around. It's gotten very serious very quickly, and it's about to get even worse, even more quick. So take heed, make no tarrying to come to the Lord. So I hope that was edifying. Until next time, we're going to say shalom.